I have the privilege to introduce Dr. Trilochan Mohapatra. So, born on 20th April 1962, Dr. Trilochan Mohapatra is a geneticist turned microbiologist. He has a total of 145 papers in various national and international journals. His research accomplishments include development of the first high-yielding basmati rice variety resistant to bacterial leaf blight through molecular marker-assisted selection and physical mapping and genome sequencing of rice and tomato. He has also served as the director of National Rice Research Institute, which is formerly known as Central Rice Research Institute, placed at Cuttack. Apart from that, nurturing generations, he has served as a researcher and teacher for more than 20 years in National Research Center on Plant Biotechnology, IARI, New Delhi. Presently, he is the Government Secretary to the Department of Agriculture, Research and Education, in short, what we call as DARE, and Director General of Indian Council of Agricultural Research, that is ICAR. Known for his studies in the field of molecular genetics and genomics, Dr. Mohapatra is an elected fellow of the National Academy of Sciences, India, the National Academy of Agricultural Sciences, the Indian National Science Academy, and the Indian Society of Genetics and Plant Breeding. The Department of Biotechnology of Government of India has awarded him with the National Bioscience Award for the Career Development, which is one of the highest Indian science awards for his contributions to biosciences. With this brief introduction to his vast academic achievements, which I'm sure is not possible and justified in a short while, I'm sure we are all waiting eagerly to hear from him. And sir, I formally welcome you for this innovation lecture to this summit. I welcome you, sir, Dr. Trilochan Mohapatra.
Thank you very much. Very good morning to everybody present today. Honorable Chair, Professor U.S. Rawat, Vice Chancellor of Sri Guru Ram Rai University, Dehradun, Dr. SPS Kanuja, Founder President of Flora and Fauna Science Foundation, other colleagues and seniors who are present today, and thanks Dr. Paul for the introduction. And I am extremely delighted to be here this morning, linked to all of you. And for these, my sincere and profuse thanks to my teacher, Dr. SPS Kanuja, who taught me the fundamentals of molecular biology during my study at the Indian Agriculture Research Institute, where Dr. Kanuja was teaching. In fact, immediately after his completion of PhD, he joined there and then started teaching. So that was the opportunity for me to learn from him. And those days, the digital platforms were not in use as we have today, kind of explosion. And he would have 3-4 blackboards full of information. And he would spend that much of time to write all that using chalks, and which would be wiped off after the class, obviously, for the next class. And every class, before every class, all the blackboards will be full. So how much time he used to spend in writing all that which were required for the class. So students had difficulty because so much of knowledge would be imparted in one class. That was unthinkable those days without any kind of external aid and digital systems in use. And very importantly, You would keep talking and explaining each one of those non-stop. So that was the kind of teacher he was, and he would expect you to excel. Otherwise, you have no place. So it was a great learning experience when Dr. Kanuja was teaching at the Indian Agriculture Research Institute, and teaching those days the course which was most popular. In fact, at least 40, 50 students. At IRI, in one discipline, there will be only 5, 6 students, registering at in 1 year. So at least 40, 50 students should be registering. Obviously, this cuts across disciplines to attend his class. There will be competition always. Though he would be very tough in terms of grading and in terms of examination. So still, students should be interested, motivated to have that course. So much of learning used to happen those days. That was I'm talking of 80s. So this is very rare today to find teachers having that kind of commitment to teaching. And today we talk of innovation. This is innovation lecture, and he used to innovate those days. Though the word was not so much in use, he would innovate in a many different ways to introduce new topics, to teach, using all kinds of innovative, ways and thinking. Very importantly, again, the modern tools of molecular biology, those days, explaining those in simpler terms. Today, genomics has advanced so much, but the fundamentals of those learnings from microbial molecular genetics used to come from his own thinking, own style of teaching, and explanation. And today I find a number of students, being there and attending this. So when I joined and started teaching, I had seen him as a teacher, and subsequently I joined also the same department, so we were colleagues, and then we started learning from each other in a very different ways. But when I started teaching, so I was told that students from his teaching and him as example of an excellent teacher, and you have seen his introduction. It was a real class actually. So covering all aspects, you don't have to really have anything discussed, subsequently. If you can, deliberate and expand each one of those, your program is done actually. So a vast understanding of various fields interconnected, and his own experience of working and handling the institution, CMAP, and subsequently interaction with a large number of industry and providing guidance to them. So vast experience, on that he has. So Dr. Kanuga, excellent and so much to learn from you, and also gratitude to you for initiating this FloraFauna Foundation for Science Foundation. So if you can mute all of you, that would be very good. So FloraFauna Science Foundation for the benefit of humanity at large, for benefit of the country, and for benefit of the farmers, and benefit of all the health seeking in today's world, more so the individuals of the world, not just India. So that is something which is remarkable, and I sincerely appreciate your efforts. and express sincere thanks from my own personal behalf, on behalf of the Indian Council of Agriculture Research and the Department of Agriculture Research and Education, Government of India, that you are spearheading the efforts and initiatives for a healthy India, and which is today the kind of clarion call given by none other than Honorable Prime Minister himself. And through various ways, whether it is yoga, whether it is eating right, or whether it is nutrition, India, nutritious India, whatever, all kinds of programs and his own deliberations through radio and various fora where he has been talking and spearheading the healthy India concept. So in that sense, this is a great effort of yours, Dr. Kanuja, and always it's a pleasure to listen to you, and today was no exception, and to learn from you. Certainly, health is important, and KHET, SEHAT, the kind of that you have kept for the liberation is very, very pertinent and relevant. And so, in that context, I would, not have a very long lecture, of course, but already I was supposed to finish at 11:35, but it's already 11:25, 26. So I'll try my best. Maybe I'll take another 5-10 minutes extra to finish my, part of my deliberation. So thanks, Dr. Pal, for your kind words of introduction. And in fact, after some time, you don't feel that you need any kind of words and for expressions for yourself. It doesn't really matter much, so. But what is important is the concept, the kind of topic that we are, deliberating today. I said the importance. Dr. Kanuja himself has elaborated how important it is, and also at the same time, the various facets which are associated with the concept, which we need to really discuss and define our own action plans. How do we really move forward? With regard to nutrition, of course, health, nutrition, Dr. Kanuja has already given that how nutrition, healthcare is very, very important in this country. And of course, preventive healthcare and curative healthcare, as he rightly mentioned, they are quite relevant in today's context, because more so for this country, because Human Development Index, which is a global study and which places India very poorly and highlights all our deficiencies. And you or me or any one of us as individuals, as citizens of this country, we don't really feel good when we see those kind of descriptions that India is lagging behind even countries like Bangladesh or even other neighbors, very smaller countries, and we are lagging behind. And Human Development Index, Hunger Index, all those various indices which are used to describe India, places India in a very, very, low ranking and very poorly. That is actually worrisome for every one of us, because someone said that you are responsible not only for yourself, you are responsible for your family, for the society, and for the country where you are. So if we say it's a big statement, though we don't realize this statement is big, but it's a very big statement. And I am responsible for myself, my family, my society, and my country. And if everybody thinks about this and takes it very seriously, this statement, and our job would be done, but it's not being done. So that's the point, actually. And otherwise, in this country, the kind of malnutrition is so all pervasive. If I start with kind of women, and we say that women empowerment we keep talking about, and more so in this country where women have been worshipped in various forms, before, at the starting of this civilization to historic, and even today, we keep worshipping in different forms the woman. But, the kind of malnutrition, kind of other problems they have. Can you imagine that about 51% of women at childbearing age, being anemic. The anemia is so all pervasive. And similarly, if you see and because woman is having poor health, who would nurture the child in home? So obviously, all children below the age of 5, and it's a very frightening situation. Almost 38% of the children below the age of 5 being stunted. And stunting means, we can really hear and in 1 year and then take it out in other year. And that's what is actually happening. And when he says stunting, it has so many ramifications and implications for the future India. We say future India would be, in terms of economy, in terms of superpower, in terms of everything, India would become. But it would not become actually having such a big baggage and of our population who are actually stunted, very poor mental growth and physical growth, disease prone, and so on and so forth. And how do you really carry such a 40% of your population in that format? And, can you become a developed country with that kind of situation? And also the kind of wasting that takes place in this country below 5-year age children, more than 20%, close to 21% children are, wasted. So, because that is the time when they have to develop it, they are having poor health, the whole country's future is very, very dark. And, all those children who are students who are attending today, how many of them know their own health? And practically, I don't think any one of them would have gone to test their health and know their status, whether vitamin D deficiency is there, or vitamin B12 deficiency is there, or, micronutrients. Dr. Kanuja, in fact, talked about everything. Micronutrient deficiency is there, and, how many? We don't really conduct any test. Unless we have some disease, we don't go for testing anything, and no routine, checkup takes place for health management. So we don't, we are not conscious of it either. So Dr. Kamja were talking about, preventive healthcare or nutritional healthcare. So unless you know where you are and you would not really address those, and when you know that time you are already diseased. So that's the serious issue. So, and then the second is that you would not have deficiencies, nutritional deficiencies to make you disease prone. And that's all happens for all of us. How do you really address and go for preventive health care? So obviously food is most vital. And if we don't have a balanced diet and nutritious food, so obviously there will be deficiencies, and over a period of time, a serious situation would arise and one becomes diseased and prone to all kinds of diseases. And today, the lifestyle diseases are so also prevalent. And one estimate says that 9% of the adult population, particularly the male population, is diabetic in India. And 9% of adult population in India means it's a huge number. And, where are we actually leading to? So, and similarly, you talk of, obesity and other lifestyle problems, the cardiovascular disease, and so on and so forth. And I'll not go into those details. And if you, go to Google and just type this, and you will be frightened to see the kind of estimates which are available for India. And where we are, and if we claim and aim to become a developed country, so obviously the health issues have to be addressed, and we have to have a healthy population. We have the advantage, what they call as kind of comparisons which are always made with Japan, for instance, is a highly developed country, and the average age of Japan and China and India, if you compare, you see, predominant of older people in those countries as compared to India. So the advantage of youth in these countries is so huge and tremendous. And but then, if it is a poor health and malnourished, youth, so obviously this advantage would be compromised. So the demographic dividend that we always talk about, and it goes in India's favor, so it would be obviously sacrificed and compromised because of a very poor health of the youth. That's very frightening again, and that's the reason why the Posan vision of Government of India and nutrition movement in India. And you see this year's budget all focus on nutrition and healthy India, and and health, supremacy is there, and the provisioning of budget and all those things. So I'll not go into those, and let me focus on the science part of it, our own role in this. But my delegates and colleagues and friends, this background I said, which at one time was also very serious because we didn't have enough food to eat. In 1950s, immediately after the independence, and we didn't have enough food to eat. Forget about nutrition. You have to fill the hungry belly, and the hungry belly can create all kinds of problems. And that is the time when, in 60s, late 60s and 70s, Green Revolution happened. And we went on producing, increasing productivity and producing enough. And today, we are producing more than 295 million tons of food grains. 295 million tons of food grains. Horticulture production, which was nowhere, it was below 200, now surpassed the food grain production, 320 million tons of fruits, vegetables, and other horticulture products. So this is a remarkable one. Milk production has gone beyond 180 million ton mark, and we are number one milk producer in the world. So thanks to White Revolution that happened with all efforts of Dr. Varghese Kurian, and thanks to Dr. Swaminathan for the Green Revolution, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan for the Green Revolution, and subsequently the Horticulture Revolution, and today in recent years the Pulses Revolution, and many others. So the Blue Revolution, and so on and so forth. So what has happened in the process is that we are self-reliant, self-sufficient in most of the items except edible oil, which we are importing large scale. I'll not go into those details why we are and then what we should do, and that's a different subject altogether. But the issue is that we have become, sufficient, at least in food grain production. We have enough to eat. But in our rush to actually enhance productivity and so that production is enhanced, we lost sight of the nutrition. So the malnutrition was actually growing because the main staple food, the rice and wheat, became deficient in some of the very, very important items of health. You say protein malnutrition, you say the hidden hunger, the micronutrient malnutrition. So all these were growing actually. We were only filling our belly, hungry belly, but then not really adequately addressing the important component of our nutrition, and they were actually deficient. And that we noticed, and that is the reason why our efforts are now directed towards improving the various nutritional components through a process called biofortification. Global efforts, and India has put in tremendous effort to biofortify its crop varieties. And it's already 11:40. So how much more time I can take, Dr. Kanuja, so that I can accordingly shape it? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you say.
I think 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. So I'll take 10 minutes and then try to finish it up. So this is one, and after 2015, actually we put in efforts, and today we have 70 biofortified crop varieties. We will have about 6,000 crop varieties in this country, and we just started in past 5-6 years. We have biofortified crop varieties. I'll cite one two examples so that you understand how it is. Rice is actually very poor, relatively poor in protein content. Rice, in Eastern India and Southern India is a staple diet, and, 3 times, 4 times, people keep consuming rice directly, cooked rice, and also various preparations out of rice. So obviously, the protein requirement is not really met, and dal consumption is not very great. And those which are vegetarian, again, they suffer from protein malnutrition. And, but at the same time, we have a very rich germplasm, and we discovered in our land races, farmers varieties, and, high protein rice, protein to the tune of 16%, while in normal varieties, it is less than 8%, 6%, 7%, so 16%. And we started making a cross with a very good variety at the Central Rice Research Institute, and we transferred that good trait of local variety having 16% protein to the background of very popular variety called Navin, and also subsequently Swarna. So transferred this high protein trait and making our varieties, popular varieties, high protein in the process to the tune of 11% of protein instead of 7% or less than 8% protein. So this is an example that I created new varieties, Siardhan, 310, 311, and the series has now become very popular, becoming now very popular, that to address protein malnutrition among the rice eaters who don't really consume much of other things, but rice, and rice alone. And Dr. Kanuja has seen in the same mess how the Eastern Indians, where he used to dine, how much rice they consume. The plate full of rice, a big heap of rice consumed every time. So this is one bright example that how we can address malnutrition issues if our diet is nourished, providing the nourishment. So there's nothing like that. And similarly, Dr. Kanuja talked about fruits, and if I have to talk about fruits and vegetables, obviously, there are plenty of such examples available with us. Fruits and vegetables are naturally biofortified. They have quite a bit of vitamins, antioxidants, and then various even nutraceutical properties, even medicinal properties which are there, in say many vegetables. Karela having anti-diabetic property or whatever, or for that matter, or many others. The garlic, for instance, so the many other the spices, particularly, which are also coming under the horticultural crops, they have immune boosting properties, for instance, and many other properties which are there. I'll come back to this point a little later. But what we have done is we have also further biofortified the horticultural crops. For instance, we have seen cabbage, and cabbage is very white. It's a flower. If you see that flower, it's white in color, but we have made it yellow and deep yellow in color, where the provitamin A level is quite high because the gene expression which was not happening earlier. So we have introduced a gene, and that by conventional breeding, it's not a GM, and where it's a deep yellow color. And you can see the provitamin A expressing at a high level, and then consumption of such kind of products certainly can provide us better nutrition than what we have been consuming. So food as essential component of nutrition, but very importantly, in addition to this, what is important is having a diversified food system. Dr. Kanuja did mention about it, for instance, millets. But we used to consume, quite a bit of diverse food, in the past. I say long past, not immediate past. So Dr. M.S. Swaminathan used to talk about culinary diversity. Culinary diversity reveals I have seen in my childhood days in southern part of India or eastern part of India, there will be a thali, and a surrounding thali there will be 10 different koture having 10 different kind of vegetables and dal and all that, so providing all different kind of nutrition in the process. But because both husband and wife started working, and no time to really cook and get something ready-made, or have at least maybe one item in addition to rice or dal or chapati and dal. So in the process, our culinary diversity got shrunken to an extent that we have lost out on the nutrition component which is to be provided by the diverse food items which we had in the past. So this is the time that we all be conscious and educate and inform everybody concerned in our own families, respective families, and also everyone surrounding, that how important diversified food system is and how important to consume that kind of diverse food to have a healthy life. So in that context, the millets are very, very important. We have also biofortified millets. Now the ragi, for instance, is biofortified for calcium, for iron, for zinc, and the levels have been doubled, in fact, in many instances. And similarly, small millets are also enriched with iron and zinc. So the hidden hunger, the micronutrient deficiencies, which Dr. Kanuja was talking about, and they have been actually enhanced to a great extent, and in the newer varieties. And if we start consuming diversified food systems, certainly we'll be able to address those. And similarly, today the horticulture crops consumption is increasing, and every dining table has fruits and vegetables. And one beautiful example is the pomegranate. And in childhood days, we used to consume this when we used to sick. And if we fall sick, you will consume oranges, you consume pomegranate. But today, every healthy individual is taking fruits and vegetables. And it is said that you consume fruits fast and then go for your main food. And there is an our revolution, the pomegranate revolution in this country. And we have developed new varieties, Bhagwa. It looks so red outside, and Ganesh, and recently Solapur Lal. And you not imagine, we say that we have, anemic situation in this country, and today anemia can be, because this pomegranate is very rich in iron. And if you have consumption, and all the students sitting here, they must really, understand this, that enough adequate pomegranate consumption, would be, helping us eliminate the iron malnutrition in this country, and then anemia situation in this country. So don't have to take iron capsules, and if you can consume adequate amount of this particular fruit, And we have double the content of iron in Solapur Lal as compared to previous varieties. And that's something which is very, very significant. So biofortification has been a very successful story in recent past, and Honorable Prime Minister himself dedicated 17 biofortified crop varieties on 16th of October 2020 to the nation. And he also highlighted the importance of consuming biofortified crops and other diversified food system so that we have balanced diet to start, have healthy living in the process. But it's not just confining to actually, crops and varieties. But if I have to cite one example of those who are consuming meat, for instance, poultry, we have a local variety called Kadaknath. And Kadaknath, in Jhabua district in Madhya Pradesh, it is the native of that area. And today we have not only discovered it, we have promoted this. And very importantly today, it is a very important item in poultry trade. Why? Because its meat is black, and black meat is very, very rich in a number of vitamins, whether it is B1, B2, in fact B6, B12, and C and E, all kinds of vitamins. It is rich in that, and very importantly, it has higher content of protein to the tune of 25% as compared to less than 20% protein in other poultry meat. And another important point is it's low fat, 1%, less than 1% fat as compared to 13 to 25% fat in other poultry meat. And a low fat meat, it's a global winner actually in poultry trade. And as we go along, so not only it will provide nutrition to the meat-eating population, but also it will be a foreign exchange earner, and the international trade has just started. And that is how we can actually utilize our local resources, and so KHET to SEHAT we can build by way of utilizing our local diverse system of food which is available and which is so rich. And first of all, we must understand them. A large-scale characterizations required to understand the kind of nutritional value of our food system. And chia seed, people started talking about chia seed and many other items, as Dr. Kanuda was talking about. But we have many other, food items which we don't understand. Today, moringa is on the forefront, but there are many other items which we don't really understand how rich they are in terms of nutrition. And unless we understand, we will not be able to really, address the malnutrition problem in this country. When I say that all these are important, Dr. Kanuja highlighted many other points, but I don't want to really, trouble you by taking 1 hour. But just one or two minor points and finish it up. The other is that whatever is available with you, certainly, your next session, Dr. Kanuja, Posan to Rosen, certainly KHET to SEHAT and Posan to Rosen, both are so interconnected. That because when you say Rosen, so certainly this country's economy, Honorable Prime Minister has given a call that you have to promote one district, one product. One district, one product. That's very, very important. And that is related to not only identifying this kind of food, items which are there, which can be grown, cultivated, and then exported, not just consuming in India, but exported. Because the international markets, we have to have proper branding and, of course, grading and the food safety addressed and then exported. And we can have global brands created by way of local food safety. And this is what is very, very important. And we have tremendous opportunity. देश का रोशन तभी संभव होगा जब हमारे युवा वर्ग उसमें लगेंगे, दिमाग लड़ाएंगे, and they will उसमें अपना योगदान देंगे. ये संभव होगा. But then for that, what is important? That to find out that how you can be actually engaged. So we are creating innovations and innovators are being incubated. So any youth who is interested to become an innovator and he or she can register as an incubatee in our incubators. There are IITs have incubators, and ICAR has incubators, and DBT has incubators. So if you can enroll in those incubators and you become incubators, and then have a single or two or three ideas to play on, and then move in the direction of establishing your own industry, startup to start with. So obviously there could be plenty of opportunities. And I cite one example. You take the example of pomegranate. Dr. Khanuja was telling how we are actually wasting. In pomegranate, you can sell the arils. The whole fruit is being sold, and it's a cheaper price. And we are exporting, in fact, and very good fruits. You can good sized fruits you can export. And the inside, where juice is actually available and stored, they are called arils, and you can take those arils out. And we have now machines, and very efficiently you can take those arils out. You can have beautiful packaging, those colored arils, and then you can have, markets, global markets actually there. And I don't have to really, aril taking is a kind of time-consuming process. And if they are all taken out and carefully arranged and then packaged properly, so the consumer can take and eat directly, and if it is properly stored and packaged. So that's another way of doing business. And then, if you have plenty of those and you don't require to really have, packaging so many arils, so much of arils, you can take out juice. So, and juice can be actually sold in various forms, and you can have wines out of juice. And there's a technology to have wine out of juice, and wine consumption is also increasing, and that's one other way of looking at it. And once you do all this, then the seeds are left out, and if you can extract oil, and we have technology for that, and that oil is having anti-cancerous properties, and it's established. It has, medicinal properties, and and 1 kg of oil is more than 20,000 rupees at this point in time, and certainly it's going to increase further, and that's again can be used. And finally, the outside, the skin, which you throw, usually Dr. Khanuja is talking about, there are many things which you are throwing, and it has also antibacterial properties, and it has been established experimentally, and this being dried and then ground to powder, and it's being used in toothpaste and other material. So the complete pomegranate, in fact, leaves can also be used. The pomegranate leaves can be also used for that. So the whole plant can be actually utilized. Of course, the fruit and every part of the fruit can be effectively utilized, and we have technology for that. And entrepreneurship can be built around, and you can build clusters, production clusters, and industry. Entrepreneurship, the startups coming around those production clusters, and then the export, link to export. So, so this linkage, which Honorable Prime Minister keeps talking about. So, the KHET to SEHAT is again linked to Bees to Bazaar, because unless it goes to the market and reaches the consumer, so obviously SEHAT is not possible. So KHET to SEHAT is linked to Bees, is again associated with Bees to Bazaar, and and that is where we have limitations at this point in time. We have the problem of plenty. Anything you talk about, we have problem of plenty. The milk producers are throwing milk on the streets because they don't have market, because it's non-remunerative. And similarly, the pomegranate producers at times have problems. The potato producers have problems. Anybody you talk about, so they have issues and problems. To solve that, we have to really chip in, and the youngsters, with innovative mind, with ignited mind, excited mind, they can actually come in and then chip in and then play vital roles and use modern tools and technologies, whether it is, blockchain technology, whether it is machine learning or artificial intelligence, all exciting. This is the exciting phase in science and technology. And all the youngsters can actually take advantage of new frontiers in science and technology, and then use those, not only the demand side, addressing the demand side issues. That means the consumer is demanding a particular kind of diet or food, enriched with particular nutrition, and provide that, and also the supply side, the production side, you can use precision agriculture tools, the sensors, the drones, and all those you can utilize, the very challenging ones, and then produce enough and quality food, safe food for the consumers, which can be processed, which can be packaged, and then taken to the consumers. That is where the Indian Council of Agriculture Research is focusing on, and the COVID era, which is very, very important. And the spices which we export, we produce and export and get 20,000 crore rupees annually by exporting spice. But the spice has a tremendous value in fighting diseases. And COVID, for example, there is a recent study in which the data from 163 countries have been collated and analyzed. And COVID infection has been found. And what is the number of infection per million population? That has been analyzed. It is very clear that the countries where spice consumption, per capita spice consumption is high, there the COVID infection, that is number of people infected per million population, is much lower than the other countries. It's a clear study indicating the role of spice in building immunity. And there are many things, I'll not go into those. And if you take garlic, for instance, as an example, you have the sulfur-containing compounds. There are 15, 16 of them have been analyzed, and which is, a few of them have been experimentally also studied, and it is seen that they interact with the receptor, that is ACE2, the receptor for the virus, and it actually interferes with the receptor protein. So what is important to say is here is that they not only they have the nutritional healthcare properties, they have preventive healthcare properties, immunoboosting properties, antioxidant properties, and also at the same time they have also curative properties, anti-cancer properties. Many of them. I'll not go into those details. It's a vast area to cover. What is important is Dr. Kanuja was talking about that how do we really promote the Nutri Gardens and also change our consumption habits, food habits. So Nutri Thali. So Nutri Gardens and Nutri Thalis, if we can promote at our respective places. And in fact, our farm science centers, the Krishi Vigyan Kendras are inviting the Anganwadi 5,000 of them and telling them that how Nutri Gardens and Nutri Thalis can promote nutrition in this country. And Dr. Kanuja, your efforts are also praiseworthy in this direction, and through FloraFauna Foundation, Science Foundation. And I'm sure there will be plenty of opportunities for all of us to really work together in this direction. And, so much to do and so much to speak about. But speaking is only a small component of the whole activity. Better it is to do, actually. And, more we do, so more we will be taking out this country, taking this country out of the malnutrition, kind of problem, and all kind of, negativity that is associated with it at the global level. So I take this opportunity to thank everybody who has spent their time. And also Dr. Kanuja, my teacher, my sincere gratitude to you and for giving me this opportunity. And sky's the limit. So certainly you will be able to manage the whole thing as we go along. And the university, particularly Honorable Vice Chancellor Saab, so I believe that you can play a very vital role in this. I have been telling to all the agriculture universities to actually inculcate the very habit of nutritional, diversified, and good food habit and systems in our children, in our students. And the way they are choosy, in their food, in their mess, and then the kind of food we provide in our mess also need to be really replanned, reworked out, so that the students also get nutritious diet there. Whether it is ragi balls, which is consumed in Karnataka, or for that matter, the small millet kind of preparations, or biofortified crop preparations, or various, what is given in the form of vegetables is cauliflower or potato or kind of cabbage. 3-4 items of vegetables which are actually given in the mess to the students. Probably there's a great need to really redesign our food which is provided in our canteens and our mess so that the students become healthier. And health assessment of the students, particularly the girl children students, it's very, very essential. Routine things are happening in many universities now, and that would be helping us in preventing many of the diseases, lifestyle diseases, particularly, which are very, very serious. So with these words, I stop here and thank you very much. And wish you all the very best, the young colleagues and minds. Always, it's a pleasure to see all of you, and it's a great pleasure for me today and to see the students there at the university. So thanks to all of you.